everybody, my name is MINOU, and today I'm going to be talking about Shadows of the Clans, potentially the most influential and most widely read and loved novellas of all time. Spoiler alert for this novella, obviously, and maybe touches of other series, but I'll try to avoid any spoilers outside of this book. First, let's talk about what this book contains. It contains Ravenpaw's Farewell, probably the saddest and most tear-jerking novella that has ever existed. Obviously, there are some more heart-wrenching books, main series books, but this one is good. It really plays with your emotions in a way that most novellas do not. You have Goosefeather's Curse, which is regarded as a favorite to many. It is very interesting to see how his power works because we don't get too many cats with powers. The ones that do have powers have kind of lame powers. To be honest with you, kind of unsatisfactory powers, if you want to say. You know, Delving's hearing goes in and out, and, you know, Lion Blaze's strength thing is just confusing and inconsistent. So it's really nice to see something like this that is focusing on a cat's power in a similar way that Yellowfang's Secret did, but his power is definitely really huge. In his life, you know, we didn't know very much about him. You know, we only heard about him through Blue Star's prophecy. We really didn't get very much of Goosefeather before this, and so it was very interesting to see an expansion of his character after not hearing about him for so long. And then of course, the famous, infamous thing that is Mapleshade's vengeance. You have two sides to this argument. Both of them will willingly rip each other's throats out. You have one side that's like, oh my gosh, Mapleshade's vengeance was the best thing that ever happened. I love Mapleshade. I love Appledusk, or I love/hate Appledusk. Mostly you hate Appledusk. And I hate Oakstar and the leader of River Clan, whatever her face was. And then you have the other side that's like, Mapleshade's vengeance was the worst thing that's ever happened to warriors. It is a bad novella, and I hate everyone in there, and everything's so stupid about that. I lie somewhere in the middle, if not a little this way, just because I never adored Mapleshade, and also I watch a lot of people who never adored Mapleshade either, so I don't hate Mapleshade's vengeance, but in fact, it is fun to read. It's a fun read. There's a lot of stuff going on all at once. It yanks at you in the same way that Ravenpaw's Farewell does, but some of it is just a bit cringy, and some of it is just a bit badly done. I'm gonna say that. But otherwise, this is the best novella, in my opinion, that has ever existed in Warriors, and that could change very soon. There's a new novella coming out. I don't remember what it's called, but it's about Blackstar and everyone. That could easily be better than this, but so far, this is the best and most read novella of all time. It's true. So let's talk about Mapleshade's vengeance, because that's the juicy one that everyone wants to talk about. So basically, if you don't know, the story is that Mapleshade, she has kids with a cat from River Clan named Appledusk, and then it all goes badly. You know, she gives birth, and then she keeps it a secret from her clanmate. She says that her kids are actually, their father is actually Birchface. I think his name was Birchface. Correct me if I'm wrong. But who was the son of the leader who had died. And so Frecklewish, her brother, was super happy, like, oh my gosh, my brother had kits, and I'm so happy. I'm gonna love these kits forever and ever. And of course, Oakstar, his father and the leader of ThunderClan, was too. So basically, she just like lied to some of the most important cats in her clan in the worst way possible, saying that her kid's father was their dead son/brother. That was the worst thing she could have possibly done. But hey, it goes on like that, and she was kind of traumatized and like not really sure what was going on. She wasn't ready to have kids in any way, and she was treading on like a tightrope basically, because she was breaking the code, and she knew so very well. If she told the truth, she would have been in trouble. So I can see why she'd lie, but that was like, out of any cat who could have been their father, why Birchface? Why? Okay, moving on. So basically, Oakstar, the moment he finds out, kicks her out, and she crosses the river to ThunderClan. But then a flash flood comes and wipes all of her kids away and almost gets her too. But then, like, she finds herself on the RiverClan side of the border, and she finds her soggy kits, her poor, dead, soggy kits. I actually really liked her kits, you know. They all seem to have a personality, when usually kits are just like little fluff balls that run around and play with moss, you know. They don't have any personality, but these guys did. I really approve of that. But basically, her kits were dead. And, you know, RiverClan did not care. You know, Apple Dusk, he told the truth and said he was sorry for everything, and that obviously really destroyed Mapleshade, because, like, it's true, Apple Dusk saying what he did in front of Darkstar, I think her name was, of RiverClan, that was obviously not very pleasant, and I can't blame her at all for reacting how she did briefly after that, but then later going on a killing spree because of it's different. But, you know, I can see why she was so devastated and why it hit her so hard, because her kids are all dead. All of her children are dead, and now their father, you know. It was a dramatic scene, and there's a lot of different opinions on it, so I'm just going to move on. So basically, she gets kicked out of RiverClan as well. She makes her way to a barn and eventually starts plotting the death of everyone who she blames for her kid's death, and blah. I'm not going to go into much detail now, but she kills Ravenwing, Frecklewish, and Apple Dusk, and then she dies and goes to the Dark Forest. Like, there's literally no end. Like, it's not like she realized, oh, what I did was bad. There's a bad theme, and that's what a lot of people will think. Like, I'm satisfied now that I've murdered 3 people. Is that really what the message that you want to give to, like, the young people who are reading these books, including myself? No, that is not what you want, the message you want to give them. Killing is the answer. That is not what you want to tell them. But that's the main argument for these people over here. But I must admit, it was fun to read, and it was a good novella, dare I say, even if some of Mapleshade's decisions were so blatantly stupid. It's not necessarily Mapleshade's fault either. It's obviously partially the author's fault for writing her like that, but some of those actions that she took were so stupid. Anyhow, so, did I like this? Yes. Will I read it again? Yes. Was it worth the money? Yes. But is it worth all the arguing that's going on? I don't think so. And really, just choose a side and just be chill with it. You know, it's a very controversial topic, and, you know, it was a good novella. It was fun to read. That's all I have to say about it. Now we're going to talk about Ravenpaw's farewell, which kind of confirms Barley and Ravenpaw, which is kind of amazing, and it's super cool that we get to see how they live together, I guess, when the clan cats aren't around, and how their relationship works, I guess. But, you know, it wasn't super interesting seeing the whole Bella and Riley thing where they had to go back to SkyClan. You know, generally, books with SkyClan, journeying to SkyClan, are not super interesting, with the exception of an Apprentice's Quest, in my opinion, but generally they're not super interesting. SkyClan's destiny was a pile of garbage, and I will never touch it, ever. No one can convince me. It's garbage. I know it. I've heard so much about how much it's garbage. Anyhow, the point is not about SkyClan's destiny. The point is, it was slightly boring having to go back to SkyClan again, but hey, it was a really good story, and poor Ravenpaw. I wonder if he's still waiting for Barley to die. If he's still waiting for Barley to join him. Or if Barley's dead now. Or what's going on. I wonder if after Barley joined him, if he's joined him yet, if they went back to the clan somehow. I don't know where they are, and I would really like to know. So there's some really interesting questions that get raised after reading this novella. And yeah, it was just really good. Also, like, I don't know if you noticed, but Ravenpaw is surrounded by grass, and that doesn't happen very often. Usually you don't have plants in the little portfolios, so I take this to mean that he is amazing. Don't ask me how or why I made that connection, but okay, so next we have Goosefeather's Curse, and this is also a favorite of many people. You know, Misty Dakota, I think her name is, a really great artist who works a lot with Bright Guardian Akira. That's one of her favorite novellas. I can't blame her, you know? It was really interesting to see Goosefeather's point of view, as I said before, and his story is so unique. You know, usually with warriors, you have, oh, I'm an outcast. Oh, I became accepted because I did something really amazing and heroic. But no, his is just a sad drag. It just feels like he's just pulling it, like, just time is moving and he's not really going with it. He just, like, kind of like life is just dragging him. He just, he's not, he's never happy. And I can totally understand why that power must be so stressful for the poor little guy. And then when he grows up, he knows that his visions, he can't do anything about them, you know? He can't change fate. And yeah, it's just really sad. it's just, it's depressing almost. And just, he's really interesting. He's really compelling as a character. And although I've only read this once or twice, I still would love to reread it again. Totally worth the money. It was very good novella. And in general, this novella, I'd say this is a 10 out of 10. Because what are we comparing it to? Main series books? We can't do that. Main series books have more time. They have 6 entire, like, I don't know, 400-page books to get their message across. That doesn't sound fair. And super editions are the same. You're focusing on only one cat story and you have all this space to do stuff with. So we can't compare it to those because they have an advantage. So this is a 10 out of 10 because this is the best novella so far. And hopefully the new novella that's coming out about Black Star and Leopard Star, maybe? I don't know. I don't really remember. But hopefully that will be even better. Maybe it'll set a whole new precedent. And if that's the case, then I'll update you about the score that this novella gets. I don't know why I like reviewing novellas so much. It's something about their shortness, their easiness to talk about, and maybe just the fact that there's 3 characters in one, so I only have to show you one cover when I'm talking about 3 cats. But generally, I have a lot of novellas, and I think the reason is that novellas, even though they're usually not as interesting and not as important or really as main series books are, they are still kind of good. Like, they're good. It makes me feel like an insider, like, I know what I'm talking about because I've read all the novellas, you know? It makes me feel cool to have all these tiny little stories, like, collected. I have one more trio that I'll be able to show you. I think it's Legends of the Clans. I'll be able to talk to you about that one, and it's probably, yeah, I don't really like it. I'm just going to tell you that right now. So, yes, if you enjoyed this episode, please leave a like and a comment, and I'll see you guys in the next one. Bye-bye!